Welcome to a bad evening for anyone. This city has had it rough in this evening. For a 1v1 in General's Evolution, we have spawning on the left side as the blue GLA demo. This is Cloud. And on the right side as the green China Nuke, he's minty fresh. This is Khay. Khay versus Cloud. It is a 1v1 on bad evening. I feel like they're playing their iconic colors. Cloud with that blue, Khay with that minty green. Early oiled Eric for Khay. Now we will have to watch. This top side of the map has these two bunkers. And I think the spawning positions were reversed, but the last time... Oh, wow, that's a super fast expansion for Cloud. He goes straight into the arms dealer, but he also goes for a third, basically immediately. Interesting. And a fourth at the same time. That's 4 expansions, basically immediately, which is not what I was expecting. I mean, he is GLA, but still not what I was expecting from Cloud. However... these two buildings in the north, if you garrison them up with a couple of RPG troopers or tank hunters, they can cause some real problems for your opponent. A couple of tanks drive by there, they're not paying attention, and they just take a ton of damage. In this case, Khay trying to keep his nuclear battle masters out of range of those buildings. Meanwhile, Technical does sneak through. It does get eliminated immediately, so anything that Cloud had planned for that Technical will not come to fruition. Technical comes in, gets the sneak attack on that tank, and these buildings garrisoned up with RPG troopers are the bane of Khay. He has not found a way around them just yet. He does have one Battle Master hiding in the trees. Technical does come through, trying to sneak through the middle of the map. Khay has his own units garrisoned in these structures, although it doesn't appear that he has any missile defenders in these structures because that Technical is getting through just fine. Fresh Battle Master going for the kill. Nuclear Battle Masters with that explosive end to their life. You always have to be careful about them. 1-2 Scorpions versus this Nuclear Battle Master. It looks like one Scorpion will go down, but the second Scorpion and the Tank Hunters and the RPG Troopers should be able to clean up that Battle Master. Another Technical trying to sneak through, but Cloud will not find the ability to get into the base of Khay. Dragon Tank coming through. We'll be able to clear out that structure. And unfortunately for Cloud, he doesn't get the free kill on the tank with his troopers in those buildings. Second Dragon Tank coming right through the middle of the map. Cloud not paying attention, walks right by it with a couple of Scorpions and will leave his reinforcements to clean it up. Dragon Tank cleans up one supply dock, one supply center, but won't get much more than that. The early game just separating out into the different sides of the map. Khay and Cloud separating themselves north, south, east, and west. It seems like everywhere where there's an inch, one of these guys is trying to sneak and attack through, trying to do something extremely early on in the game. I mean, back when they both had basically nothing in terms of infrastructure, they were already at each other's throats immediately. No gentleman's agreement of, 20 minutes, no rush, nothing like that. MiGs come through. MiG in the corner. I feel like that's not a very common spot for the airfield. I don't know if I like it or hate it. I think I like it. I think that's an interesting, nice spot for an airfield. Stick a couple of MiGs in there. I guess those are nuclear MiGs. So they're not, oh, we do actually have Blue Flame already upgraded for Khay. Cloud taking more and more buildings closer and closer to Khay's base. MiGs showing up on the north side of the map. One of them will go down to the Stinger site. Meanwhile, the Dragon Tank does get cleaned up. Bye-bye, Dragon Tank. MiGs are going to have to return back home. Khay trying to garrison up the few remaining structures. These guys believe buying real estate is the smart thing to do, and both of them want to diversify their portfolio in this way. Dragon Tanks now moving out. They're going to be able to clear out these structures one by one. 2 Dragon Tanks it's going to be hard to knock that down for Cloud unless he has just a ton of RPG troopers in these buildings. But the Dragon tanks have been slowed down significantly by having to stop and clear out those buildings one by one. And yeah, the nuclear MiGs, without their ability to ignite that firestorm, they just don't have the same anti-building killing potential that regular MiGs do. You get that black napalm upgrade, burning down those buildings, it becomes second nature to those MiGs. Flak tanks and technicals making up the majority of Cloud's units, pushing through the middle of the map. Khay better hope that he has the ground-based defense that he needs. I mean, he is China Nuke, so putting out a couple of nuclear battle masters and running them into the middle of your opponent's force is a legitimate strategy in this case, and it's something that he is going to do exactly. And, well, Cloud walks literally right into it. Boom. Loses a couple of flak tanks for it, and nicely done by Cloud, or by Khay. Cloud loses, I don't know, 80% of its attacking force, basically, just to those nuclear battle masters, although Khay loses his airfield, and that is perhaps the real prize that Cloud wanted, was knocking down that airfield. RPG troopers going for the kill there, or maybe that was a rebel surprise trying to sneak in. I guess he has demo. Cloud is GLA demo, so he does have those very explosive and powerful rebels that we sometimes see used as almost an additional support power or almost an additional super weapon. The amount of damage that they can do all clumped around a building is not too far off from like a particle cannon or something. Maybe it's not as good as at hitting armies, or maybe it's not as good at totally destroying buildings, but it'll do a good chunk of damage to a building. A couple of nuclear battle masters spread out throughout the map. Khay going for that kamikaze style. Just drive into the middle of your opponents and hope for the best. It's worked out pretty well so far, but in the last 2-3 engagements, Cloud has enough firepower to knock down those tanks at distance. Khay is going to be pivoting into all GATs, and it's going to be all GATs versus basically all flak tanks, as these guys put out the equivalent of their opponent's unit and hope for the best in a 1v1. Supply trucks have gone down in the bottom left-hand corner. Cloud's economy may be hurting a bit more than he would like, but that's where knocking down his opponent's oil derrick becomes a nice factor for him. Cloud keeps his own oil derrick. He got the earlier expansions, so even though he has lost supply trucks and he is losing expansions, his production has been kept up by his earlier eco presence. Nuclear Battlemaster once again trying to close the distance, gets one tank, but not the others. And this Nuclear Battlemaster has not been stopped, so it's doing even more damage now. I thought it was going to be stopped over there at the expansion, but it's made it all the way into the back of the base, taking down a radar van, taking down yet another supply truck. Cloud's economy getting hurt even more as Cloud tries to close in on Khay's expansion, but he just hasn't been able to find any damage at Khay's expansion. Cloud rebuilding supply truck after supply truck will eventually get tired of rebuilding his supply trucks, and maybe he will deal with that Nuclear Battlemaster, or maybe he will not. Either way, okay, he will deal with it eventually. Either way, when it goes down, it'll bring an explosive end to itself. All right, nice little chunk of damage to the War Factory, nice little chunk of damage to the Supply Center. Internet Center coming online for Khay. I thought for sure he had a second War Factory down there, but his two War Factories are centered in his main base. He never rebuilt that airfield. Nuclear MiGs, when you get used to regular MiGs, they don't have the same utility as those regular MiGs. But they are still quite good. They serve a slightly more specific role. They're less good at killing big groups of units, and if your opponent is building, say, nuclear cannons, the nuke MiGs are really good at cleaning up that kind of stuff. Those single targets with, you know, medium amount of hit points. One GAT seems like a curious follow-up for Khay. He did a little bit of damage with that Battlemaster earlier, but one GAT seems like maybe not the best choice. It will get cleaned up by the Stinger Sight. Meanwhile, Flak Tanks looking to put on a bit more pressure. It's going to be all GATs, a couple of Nuclear Battlemasters mixed in here as well. But no, it's actually transitioned into 5-6 Dragon Tanks out the front door for Khay. He has pushed back Cloud, and Cloud's mix of RPG troopers would have been good if it wasn't just a front line of GATs that can mow down those RPG troopers almost instantaneously. A couple of flak tanks are left. Nuclear Battlemaster will eventually go down, and the last flak tank does fall. The Dragon Tanks are Khay's hope in the middle of the map. He's going to take down the oil derrick. He is going to push open the front door, and he's going to hope that he can take down this palace and hinder the production of Cloud. If he can shut down these war factories, then the front line of troops can eventually be dealt with. Propaganda Center takes a lot of damage. On the other side of the map, the palace is now under fire directly from the Dragon Tanks, and it looks like 5 of the Dragon Tanks have made it to the front door of Cloud. Propaganda Center does not survive. It looks like the Technicals did manage to bring it down. Mine drop in front of the War Factory is a perfect move by Khay. It doesn't eliminate everything. And no, Cloud doesn't lose anything. I thought for sure he was going to lose both of those buildings. I cannot believe 5 Dragon Tanks didn't manage to burn down a single building. It looks like the Arty Strike did finish off that War Factory, though, and Khay has reformed his front line. The Propaganda Center is annoying to lose, and Khay isn't going to be happy about that, but he can go a minute or two without it, unless he really needs more internet centers right this moment. For now, he has basically been building Battlemasters, Dragon Tanks, and GATs, which are all sort of Tier 1 units. You don't need the Propaganda Center for any of those. War Factory shut down does mean that Cloud's production has been entirely focused in his first War Factory. It's been entirely Scorpion tanks, and he has not gotten his second War Factory back online just yet. Actually, wouldn't even be surprised if he dropped it over at his expansion instead of building it in his main base. Well, okay, halfway in between. Kind of puts it on the north side of the map. So it will be a little bit further north in his main. It will be a little bit closer to his opponent. Khay's front line turns back to the north. 2 additional War Factories, or was it? It might have been a War Factory and a Command Center coming online for Khay. He's got, I think, now 3 War Factories and 3 Command Centers, maybe 4 Command Centers. Flak Tanks head deep into enemy territory. They're going to be able to break down that supply center once again. The expansion points, always the early harassment. But Khay is okay with rebuilding that at this point. He has a couple of internet centers to keep him in the game. Scorpion Tank's going to be the follow-up. GAT cannons are here. Nuclear Battlemasters on the front line, and Khay doesn't have enough to stop these Scorpions. He's got 1 Nuclear Battlemaster in. Actually, no, these GATs might be able to burn down some of these Scorpions. The reinforcements are going to have to be what takes down the follow-up, because it's going to be RPG troopers. And this GAT still never went down. That 1 GAT cannon held off the forces of Cloud for so much longer than I was expecting. Fortunately, these GAT cannons have been attacking the tanks and not taking down the RPG troopers. They would rip through those RPG troopers, but they're focused entirely on the Scorpion tanks, letting the RPG troopers do big damage from behind those tanks. The front line has almost reformed as Khay's front base, or main base, crumbles under the pressure of Cloud's RPG troopers. Almost everything else of Cloud's has fallen. Almost the only thing he has left is RPG troopers and a couple of Scorpion tanks. The fact that those Scorpions took so much firepower from the GAT cannons and the GAT tanks means that these much cheaper RPG troopers have been able to do so much damage and actually tearing down the buildings of Khay. Cloud keeps up the parade push all through the northern side of the map. That was his focus. The expansion there was rebuilt. He didn't rebuild the expansion in the south. He rebuilt his second War Factory on the northern side, and Khay has crumbled. He's looking for the strike back. A MiG strike comes in from nowhere. A MiG strike support power coming in for Khay. It does burn down the supply center, and Khay now has to pivot everything. And he does have, fortunately, 3 internet centers in the south. He has that war factory, which he rebuilt. Otherwise, he would be out of this game if he had not rebuilt some of that infrastructure in the south. And now it's up to Khay to try and defend against the next wave of Cloud's attack. Anthrax bomb? Oh, it does land! I thought it was a little bit too far, but no, it lands. The supply trucks will pay the price. There goes a chunk of Khay's economy. Power plant gets eliminated. Khay sneaks out 3 GATs onto the south side of the map. The Stinger site never got taken down, so Cloud does still have that bit of defense, but that Anthrax bomb doing absolute massive damage to the production of Khay. He's got the supply center, he's got the barracks. The barracks are just completely useless because of that Anthrax bomb. The supply trucks all going down, even this one that's long distance mining getting eliminated. Only the GAT cannons have survived that Anthrax bomb, and it's going to be the Rebel surprise coming in here. Quarter of the health of that command center eliminated. Arty Strike fires off. Flak tanks driving now to their doom. Their own Anthrax bomb, cleaning them up. I'm not sure why Cloud decided to drive into his own Anthrax area. This war factory has survived so many blasts of so many support powers from Khay. Cloud not nearly giving away his own army by driving it into that Anthrax bomb. But he does manage to hold on to some of these flak tanks. GATs grouped together in a squadron of 4. Going to be able to knock down these RPG troopers. Well, maybe not if they don't actually attack the RPG troopers. He doesn't want to try and engage the whole army at once. Khay is going to try and draw this attack out, lead it back to where his defenses make him a little bit stronger. And now that he has actually the GAT tanks, he can cut through any RPG troopers that show up pretty quickly. Right now, the tanks will be leading the charge. Couple of Scorpions, couple of flak tanks. Khay has almost nothing left as the follow-up. That Anthrax completely hamstrung Khay's production for so long. Cloud's army is now here at the front door. 5 GATs plus a couple of GAT cannons on the front line. Make that 3 GATs plus a couple of GAT cannons on the front line. RPG troopers getting cleaned up one after the other, and 2 GATs hold the front line. Are you kidding me? Khay's 2 GAT tanks hold the front line. Carpet bomb doesn't really connect. A couple of strikes land there, but that Stinger site is going to be okay. I cannot believe Khay held off that attack with 5 GAT tanks. That Anthrax bomb completely shut down his production. He was doing nothing, basically nothing at all, for, 30, 40 seconds, however long that Anthrax strike lasts, because of how tightly packed all of his buildings are. Ugh, man, the next time that Anthrax bomb lands, it is going to be another huge shutdown of Khay's production. Unless he can draft something in the middle of the map. He's got this expansion here, the double supply center follow-up 4K. I can't believe he snuck out this expansion. Cloud, I think, has no idea about that expansion. And I feel like Cloud never... Does Cloud not... I think Cloud doesn't believe in the secondary economy. It's just now occurring to me that it's one black market for Cloud. He never built much of a secondary economy. Black market, the Palace survived. The Palace survived for a long time. Supply strike in the north. That MiG strike comes in, hits the supply stash of Cloud. Cluster mine on top of that sneak attack. Internet center getting targeted down. There is one technical and a couple of RPG troopers here trying to knock down the internet center of Khay. Khay does have this expansion over here with at least a barracks there. So Khay can potentially keep up production, but the technical will be getting pushed away, and no real escape for this technical. Oh! Oh! The rebels inside, those RPG troopers take down that command center. He does still have the war factory, and thus, once again, Khay does emerge with an additional command center. Rocket buggies is what Cloud is going to transition into, and it just feels like Cloud should have the win. But I have to think that his economy has completely flatlined. Khay taking down those supply stashes did so much more to hamstring Cloud's economy that late in the game than you would expect, because Cloud had only a single black market, and even now has only a single black market. Because of that, Cloud, every time he loses a supply stash, it is a significant portion of his economy. Another supply stash goes down. And these support powers cost Khay nothing. The supply stash in the north hasn't been rebuilt. It's just the two in his main base. Khay, on the other hand, has 2 internet centers cranking away and 3 supply centers all together. 2 in the middle of the map, freshly established. Cloud is somewhat mystified, it seems, as he scouts the main base of Khay, scouts the northern part of the map, and realizes how little is there for Khay. Khay has just the middle of the map and this bottom right corner. There's actually a scan coming in as well. Cloud deploys a scan, getting insight into Khay's base, and look at this sneaky dozer along the left edge of the map, along the south edge of the map, excuse me. And Arty Strike comes in, cleans up that War Factory, cleans up that supply stash as well. The War Factory may have gone down to something else, and Khay has built up such a massive army compared to what he had a few minutes ago. I mean, an Anthrax Bomb could still change that. We have seen that in the past. But Khay coming back from almost nothing against Cloud. Expansion in the north has been rebuilt. Expansion in the south, not yet. Not just yet. Gat Cannon is here. Khay moves out on the north side of the map. Cloud still has a couple of these buildings garrisoned, so he will have a bit of an early warning system. He will be able to respond, but with 1 War Factory of production and not much economy for several minutes in this game, Cloud is a little bit hamstrung with what he was able to do. Gat Cannon comes online, cleans up a buggy. Meanwhile, Cloud in the north. Oh no, Cloud with the Anthrax Bomb in the middle cleans up Khay's army, and then everything over here just got completely nuked by, I guess, this Civ structure. Surely Khay didn't forget to get stabilizing isotopes. Surely Khay did not forget stabilizing isotopes. I feel like there is no way that he could forget stabilizing isotopes. If he did, and he just lost his entire army into the north basically for nothing, then that would be an extremely costly mistake for Khay. Carpet Bomb comes through. Rocket buggies barely surviving. 2 of them have managed to survive as Cloud cleans up another supply center. Demo Rebel Ambush cleaned up the army in the north. It wasn't stabilizing isotopes biting him in the back. It was the Rebel Ambush. The entire tank army clumped up. The combination of Anthrax Bomb and Rebel Ambush cleaned up Khay's entire army in the north. Cloud on the back foot for the last couple of minutes here and gets a win. Almost a lucky win with that Demo Rebel Ambush. The main base of Khay is up for grabs. Gat Cannon quickly cleans up every single one of those RPG troopers. Only the Scorpion tank did remain, and now this sneak attack has basically been completely gutted. That was a sneaky attempt by Cloud, but it went basically nowhere. Supply stash in the south. Oh, wow. Still 7 grand in that supply stash. I'm actually genuinely surprised there's anything there. Khay has the 2 supply centers in the middle of the map. He's had them cranking for a long time, parking just a couple of ECMs because he's worried about those rocket buggies. Khay rebuilding his airfield from so long ago. He's been rolling without the MiGs at all, and he's finally rebuilt them. Supply stash is going back up in the north. Every time Cloud establishes a new supply stash. Ooh, rocket buggy. One goes down, the second escapes. Every time Cloud establishes a new supply stash, it seems like Khay knocks it down with an RD strike. Long distance mining from the south. Flak cannons are here. Tank hunters are trying to hold the line, but this Gat cannon has been here almost from minute 1 in this game. Cloud has not really knocked it down. Carpet bomb comes in, lands partially on the palace. Not a complete hit there, so it won't stop the rocket buggies from being produced, but Cloud is mostly pivoted back to cheaper tier 1 units. Nuclear Battle Masters pushing forward, Gats as well. Tank after tank leading the charge for Khay. MiGs back in the sky. The buildings, Khay is just tired of these buildings causing him problems. He wants to make sure that they can't be garrisoned anymore by Cloud. And Cloud, I love that he's taken this northern expansion. It's still got 5 grand in the tank. Anthrax bomb has to be getting close to re-emerging. Probably still a minute left on that Anthrax clock. RD strike fires off. Maybe on the left side. Yeah. Finds another. Oh no! The RNG was good too. Cloud. Double Rebel Ambush. Demo Rebel Ambush cleans up a big chunk of Khay's army. And now going to be forcing Khay back. Forcing Khay away. One random RPG trooper over on the left side of the map. And the MiG's going to be coming in for Khay. Maybe he can burn down the palace. He catches almost all of the rocket buggies. He gets the war factory. He gets the palace. And Khay knocks open the front door of Cloud. He doesn't have to resort to a nuke to do it, but he does need the help of those support powers. 3 nuclear battle masters have survived the first wave. And it's going to be an EMP or a mine drop. EMP on top of the expansion, on top of the barracks as well. But this expansion in the north has escaped the notice of Khay. Fortunately for Khay, he still has this middle of the map expansion. MiGs come in, and the GG comes out. Cloud's army getting chipped away at time after time after time. That War Factory Palace knockdown right at the end was the perfect 1-2 punch from Khay. And yeah, look at that. Cloud, his economy never took off. Even when he nearly gutted Khay and Khay was close to flatlining, Cloud's economy never caught up, never recovered. And once again, 80,000 credits in the advantage of Khay over the course of that game. And that will wrap up this 1v1 on Bad Evening. Welcome back to another Bad Evening. Hopefully, I won't cough and die in this case. I think this is going to be a little bit of a fun meme game. And hey, if you're watching this stream, what did we talk about? We talked about Tournament Desert, Stalemate map. Bad Evening, not a Stalemate map, and how much more fluid and around the mappy was that last game. There was stuff happening all over the place. It wasn't just funneled down into one section. Bad Evening, better map than Tournament Desert. On the left side, playing as the USA Air Force, this is Kyle. And why did I say that this was going to be a fun, meme kind of a game? Well, that is, of course, because on the right side, also playing as the USA Air Force, it is Khay. I hope you guys are ready for some USA Air Force shenanigans, some nonsense, some silliness, some absurdity, as we go for 2 airfields before second supply. Kyle, 2 airfields before second supply. The boy is a jester, and he does not believe in long-term economy, I guess. Khay, on the other hand, Supply, airfield, supply. A much more respectable option. A much more normal sort of a build. Double airfield. Do you even have the economy for double airfield? Is this legitimately just a bad build? No, he's building stuff, so he does have the economy for it. But it feels like, wow, can you really build off of 2 airfields off of 1 supply? And the answer is yes. Power plant goes down. Perfectly executed there for Kyle. Second airfield a bit slow for Khay, but of course, the loss of the power plant is the real stickler there. That's so annoying to lose your first power plant in this situation. And I'm actually surprised that the power plant doesn't hamstring the production of that airfield, but I guess the production of the airfield requires the supply center. And the supply center is still there, so the power plant doesn't actually matter. And now the second supply center goes down. The strikes are back and forth. It's a 1-for-1. It's a cross map as Khay and Kyle go for the throat. And also, it's a little bit confusing because Kyle is the one playing that fresh minty green, and Khay is the one playing orange, which normally Khay does like that minty green color. One airfield down. Kyle may have done it. Gets him on the deck. No, he doesn't. You can never surprise Khay, it seems. That power plant getting knocked down was such a hard reset for Khay. He has not well recovered. He has not stabilized from that moment. Nice use of the laser zaps. He has not gotten a full refuel on his Raptors, and so the laser zaps are basically his only way to negate damage. And hey, when you're in a situation where your opponent is using entirely like rocket-based weapons that can be zapped, well, those zaps are a legitimately useful tool. King Raptor's coming back. Supply center has not been restarted yet. All right, that's the first wave. The second wave is the one that will knock down that supply center. Do we have a 4th Raptor on the way? Yes, we do. We do have a 4th Raptor on the way. I do love all of these random Rangers left over from buildings crossing the map. I do appreciate that from Khay. And it's one of those things that is going to slow down Kyle in the next phase of this game and going to give Khay perhaps a little bit of breathing room, but it maybe doesn't even matter because as soon as Khay defends one target, Kyle goes for one that he isn't looking at. These Comanches could be across the map dealing... Oh, on the deck! No! No, Kyle avoids it as well. He gets off the deck. Khay, for the first time in a minute or two, has stepped back out across the map, has struck down the airfield of Kyle, forcing him to rebuild as the power plant goes down once again for Khay. Khay rebuilds the power plant, and these Raptors crossing each other in the middle of the map. They're going to take down that stealth Comanche, but starts a second airfield as soon as the first falls down. And I don't think the Raptors will actually survive all the way. 2 of them go down. The other 2 still have missiles in them, so they will be able to stay alive, zap down the missiles coming in from Khay. Kyle barely able to re-establish everything, and he keeps up the pressure. Khay hoping to survive, but Kyle has been hamstringing Khay time and time and time again. These airfield kills have been so incredibly good for Kyle. A-10 Warthog strike coming in across the map. The power plant doesn't go down. 2 Raptors manage to keep it alive, and the airfield so close to death. If only there was a Ranger with a little bit of damage on the other side of the map. An A-10 Warthog strike is going to return fire. It's going to be the split in between the 2 buildings. Massive damage to the supply center, big damage to the power plant, enough to knock it down. And Khay is maybe just out of gas. He's going to pivot. It's a double barracks as the follow-up. Maybe the stealth Comanches will finally come into play and not just get shot down in the middle of the map. The only thing that Khay has right now is these Rangers on the left side of the map gunning down the airplanes as they drop in for refueling. Oh my gosh, Khay is going to try a double barracks transition. Kyle, that kill of the cold fusion reactor was such a hard reset against Khay that he has not been able to recover, and now the slow death is going to be coming to a pretty quick end. Command center goes down. Kyle has all but won the game. Khay has fallen to pieces, and Kyle, I think, feeling like he has redeemed himself. I think the last time they had an air mirror, at least the last one that I saw, Khay ended up dominating Kyle. But in this case, Kyle has shown that he can fight back, and he legitimately won those Raptor Wars. And the other nice thing about USA air mirrors, at least in Gen Evo, I feel like in Gen 0, or maybe they go on a little bit longer, but air mirrors are almost always really short games, sub 10 minutes. And in this case, Khay has been defeated. Not a lot of buildings left for Kyle to knock down, but there's the GG coming out from Khay. And 7 minutes 30. Nice, easy, quick game. Very short, at least compared to some of the other games we've had in Gen Evo. And we are back into it on Tournament Desert. We'll see how this one goes. We might have our finger over the fast forward button in the north, playing the minty, fresh, laser general green. This is Khay. Meanwhile, in the south, also playing green, but playing GLA vanilla, this is Kyle. And yes, we all hate it when two players play virtually the same color. It makes the minimap a mess to look at, but at least it is USA versus GLA. It is not anything that is similar to each other. They have very different unit profiles for the most part, unit silhouettes, so to speak, unit looks, and all of that. So we at least have that much going for us. And we'll see, you know, this is kind of a weird path for that engineer to take, but when you build your barracks in the middle of the map, that is what happens. And Khay is clearly hoping that he can sneak out a double oil derrick capture, and he's actually going to get it. His missile defender might even be able to take the bunker as well. Missile defender's going for the harassment. Khay, what are you doing? This is nonsense. He gets it right before the tunnel network shows up, and the technicals converge. Khay going for the silliest harassment you have ever seen in your life, and it almost worked. He's just stutter-stepping around a supply truck. That was the funniest thing. That's the kind of stuff that is amazing to see. Obviously, as soon as you have one technical out, that doesn't work anymore. So it's this little window where stuff like that can happen. Believe it or not, these two oil derricks are now controlled by two different players, but they are both about to be under the control of the slightly different green. I guess we can watch the flag change. No, the flag changes color, but it doesn't change shape or logo, which I'm not sure actually what is the shape of the GLA flag. But this is also a glitch that happens in Red Alert 3, is sometimes when you capture an oil derrick, the flag doesn't change color, or doesn't change shape and faction icon, so it's still displaying the USA faction logo. 3 Humvees on the left side of the map. 1 Humvee down. Second Humvee will get jumped on by these technicals. And is that 2 Humvees for 0 technicals? Maybe 1 technical went down there? But that was like 2 Humvees for 1 or 0 technicals. Really good trade turning out there for Kyle, managing to slap down Khay with those technicals. Expansion hasn't come out yet for Khay. Meanwhile, Engineer does sneak out to the left side of the map, and we saw a barracks and a tunnel network both jump out of one of these technicals, and there they are. They have reemerged here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Now, as we saw in a previous game, and as all games of Tournament Desert, basically, this map can very much turn into one attack path down the middle of the map. GLA can help diffuse that by dropping these tunnel networks. So maybe Kyle will be able to sneak some units around the map, and boy oh boy, he has gone for a windmill basically immediately. I don't think this is an Arbinger of Scud Storms, but it could be. If he wants to go for a Scud Storm, he already has his first windmill out and deployed. Palace is here, Technical getting targeted down, and Khay is going to be wishing he perhaps had a few more base defenses back at home. We'll see if this tunnel network is able to lead into a big attack. For now, it's going to be RPG Troopers absorbing the first couple of rounds of damage. It's going to be the Technicals following up after that. This War Factory is protected by a little bit of a buffer, but that buffer is mostly supply trucks and a supply stash. As these Technicals gut past the first wave of defenses and they get trapped in between two fire bases, tearing them apart, and the follow-up, the quad cannons, can now get to work on these supply trucks, which is what I assume Kyle was wanting to do for the most part anyways. But the reinforcements from Khay coming back from nearly all corners of the map. He finds his way back home, and he will be able to push back these quad cannons for now. I thought more reinforcements were going to be coming across the map, but this group of Technicals has been sitting in this corner for a little while. Khay did eventually take back this oil derrick on the right side of the map. One of these quads has gone golden, and these Technicals are going to take down this oil derrick, but it will take them a little while. Spy drone gets spotted and killed basically immediately there. And now the quad cannons have reformed their front line. Couple of Laser Crusaders are here as well. Khay and Kyle both wanting to be a little bit cautious around this engagement. Kyle, I think, was hoping there would be a little bit less defense. Maybe he was hoping his Technicals would have scared Khay into responding a little bit more recklessly. In any case, with two War Factories up, the production is going to be pretty good for Khay. He's going to actually sell off one of the War Factories right there in the face of Kyle, and Kyle just mostly has quad cannons against laser turrets and Laser Crusaders. The Technicals on the right side of the map have finally burned down that oil derrick, but this attack doesn't have much strength left in it. The last of the two Scorpion tanks have gone down. The last of the quad cannons will fall to the Laser Crusaders. And, well, the Technicals have now shown up, but they're getting distracted by the firebase, giving Khay ample time to respond. Airfield gets started by Khay. Kyle, surprisingly, has not taken this expansion over here on the right side. I kind of would have expected Kyle to have taken the expansion by now, maybe even an expansion in the middle of the map if he wants to keep up the pressure right through the middle. But instead, neither player has expanded. Kyle's pressure has been depleted, and Khay goes back to the one War Factory life. He is going to supplement that with an additional airfield. Barracks and tunnel network on the left side of the map have gone down, and we do now have Anthrax rockets for these Scorpions. Command Center is getting rebuilt. Interesting move by Kyle. Normally in Gen Evo, players do not sell off their command centers. And I mean, even in Zero, it feels like the command center sell is no longer as universal as it used to be, and command centers get rebuilt a lot sooner than they used to. I feel like there's more time with command centers now than there used to be in the past. Barracks is here. A couple of missile defenders do manage to sneak on out, and Kyle coming right through the front door with this attack against Khay. Khay is going to hope that he can find an opening, but he cannot. That Comanche is going to head back home and hope to fight a better battle back at home. Mass quad cannons will be able to knock down those laser paladins as they step on out, and, well, laser crusaders, rather. As they step on out, Technical gets the kill on that laser Comanche. Those laser Comanches do burn through rocket buggies extremely quickly, and Technicals usually as well, but not when the Technicals can fire back as that one did. More Crusaders step on out. The fire base is almost in range of these units, and those quad cannons light up the laser Comanche so extremely quickly. One more laser turret on the front line would create so much space, or even a firebase, for Khay to be able to get more units out onto the field. Kyle has a another wave, an additional wave A full round of units all prepped back at home, but they're not being sent across the map. He did go palace. No rocket buggies just yet for Kyle. 2 fire bases at the front of the entrance. Khay is hoping his fire bases will buy him some additional time. And hey, the supply stash is coming up. Eventually, the tunnel network as well. The first expansion is finally being taken. And look at that, Giraffecob. Thank you for the sub, man. But also, Sparty Live. Who is that clown? Sparty Live. What a goofball of a name Sparty is. And I mean live. What are you live with, Mr. Sparty? What exactly are you doing that's live and current, that's present in the moment? What are you doing that's so live that you have to stick it in your name? If you guys don't know Sparty from the Kane's Wrath Tib Wars world, then you may not know who Sparty is. But Sparty from Kane's Wrath and Tib Wars, obviously great commentator from back in the day, good friend as well, and always glad to see when he has the time to grace us with his presence. Laser Comanches showing up, rocket buggies are here, and there's nothing better than one Laser Comanche just wasting 100 rocket buggies, because the Laser Comanche will absolutely do that. But at the same time, Kyle has reinvigorated his front line. Khay is hoping to be able to stop this mass of quad cannons, and the double fire base just gets free shot after free shot. The triple fire base trying to create a bottleneck here as an additional war factory gets deployed, and Kyle just feeds into a never-ending cycle of shots that are fired against him. Power plant goes down, but that power plant was not the linchpin that held this series of gears together. If you guys didn't know, the Laser Commander, all of his laser units, except for, of course, infantry, will go into low power mode if you don't have enough electricity for them. So the reason why Kyle tried to sidestep the army and go for that power plant is because he was hoping that one power plant would cut the chain on all of the forces of Khay and completely EMP all of his forces, locking them in place. But no, it was not enough. That wasn't enough to send him into low power mode. Rocket buggies are here. Laser Comanches circling the map, finally taking down a rocket buggy, finally taking down the oil derrick as well. And this Laser Comanche is now skirting off to the edge of the map. He might actually be able to dart in here and take down one of these supply trucks. They're both at full health. The quad cannons might be able to stop it in time. Oh, no, he gets one supply truck. Look at that. Just pops over, gets one supply truck, backs on out after that. And I believe fire bases take no electricity, which is why you see so many of them dotted around the base of Khay in favor of those laser defenses. Laser defenses, much better at taking down single targets than a fire base, but fire bases taking no electricity means that they don't further strain the electrical grid of Khay. One Laser Comanche. It feels like you probably need 3 or 4. Again, being able to dart in and knock down those trucks is nice. Do we have any black markets up? It looks like the answer is 1. No supply drop zones just yet from Khay. He does finally take an expansion. His third is up. Rocket buggies over to the right side of the map. Khay dangerously close to death, but that last engagement with the War Factory body block, with the bottleneck artificially created by Khay to totally gut Kyle's army, worked out so incredibly well. Khay now has a pretty serious network of fire bases. It's going to be not impossible, but it is going to be a difficult fight to crack all of these fire bases one after another, especially when you do have the Crusaders filling in the gaps. Behind all of this, on the left side, we saw the Strategy Center finally coming in. So that secondary economy as well as particle tanks, maybe even particle cannons. All are in the future for Khay, or potentially in the future for Khay. Barracks comes up on the left side. I guess he could do a laser missile defender switch, laser ranger or missile defender switch at some point. But I mean, occasionally we do see a USA player come in with a big group of infantry and make something happen. Warthog strike coming in. Are they going to find big damage? It looks like the only option is to move forward. Retreat means death, and that is so many quad cannons, so many rocket buggies that Kyle basically just walked into. Khay able to push forward, and Khay is going to crush the attack at the front door. The Rebel surprise drops in and helps burn down these 2 fire bases, but this is going to be the recovery of the army by Khay. He turns back over to the east side of the map, and Kyle's attack nearly falls completely flat. He's done a little bit of damage. He got a little bit of work done, but ultimately so much less than he hoped to do. That airstrike, absolutely insane value for Khay. He is a player who gets some lucky moments sometimes, and that was definitely one of them. He planted a trap, and it was unreasonably effective. If you told me it killed, like, 2 units, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's kind of expected. It's not supposed to kill off a ton of stuff. And then the number of quad cannons and rocket buggies that it got was just amazing for Khay. War Factory goes down. A couple of more quad cannons. Big damage on the Palace. Khay, in a couple of moments, makes Kyle look like a dead man walking. Anthrax Bomb can do the same thing, but in the reverse direction. Particle Tank goes down. A couple of Crusaders going to be taking a little bit of damage there, but ultimately Khay's army somewhat escapes the power of that Anthrax Bomb. It does shut down the production of the War Factory. You can't do much with that War Factory with the Anthrax right there on top of you. And those Anthrax Bombs are so deadly if you do not respect them. You just got to give them a moment to clear up. You got to clear the area, and shutting down the War Factory at this moment is such an amazing play for Kyle. He's able to completely hamstring the production at a moment when Khay wants to have 3, 4, 5 particle tanks. Don't drive into it! Don't do it. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? He almost kills his own Scorpion tank utilizing that Anthrax. All right, Khay has been given a moment to regroup. The particle tanks have picked off a couple of units, maybe not as effectively as Khay would have liked. The Anthrax clears, and right as it clears, the laser Comanches close in, and they're going to be able to clean up everything. The quad cannons all went down before the laser Comanches rocked up to the fight, and now Khay has once again defended his domain. He's on those 3 bases, and the Anthrax Bomb timer has reset. He needs to get back to production immediately. I mean, the aircraft are good. Laser Comanches are good. Denying expansions is good. But he needs to get back to production. Either more tanks or more particle tanks. Either one would be a good choice. Supply drop zone coming in. Khay has not resumed production at all. He might actually be flat broke still. Even with his 3rd coming in to effect, he might have bugged supply trucks. These supply trucks might be bugged over here on the left side. That might have been a big problem why Khay doesn't actually have any money. Yeah, Anthrax does. There are a couple of support powers that do feel super weapon adjacent, and Anthrax doesn't do any damage to buildings, which is why it's not a super weapon. But you're right, it does have that huge area of effect. And if you have a tight base with one center of production, like we see here, like we saw in that game on Bad Evening where Cloud dropped it on Khay, when you have a center of production like that, it means that your production is completely offline, functional. It's completely offline. Supply center and a black market both getting eliminated there in one fell swoop. The planes can be shot down somewhat quickly. The Anthrax Bomb, I feel like, you're never going to send it super deep into enemy territory if it's like a team game. you're going to use it more on the front line. But, of course, the plane... Oh, takes out 2 supply centers, basically, in, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds. One after the other. Carpet bomb gets one. The Anthrax bomb can be shot... The Anthrax plane can be shot down, but most of the time, people aren't sending it into super danger zones. They're sending it into places where it is going to be able to drop the bomb, and even if it doesn't exit, it still drops the bomb and gets out of there. Those quads did not tag those Comanches at all. Kyle is maybe going to be kicking himself for letting that pass. Maybe he wanted to keep the stealth active for a little bit longer, not give away his position, but killing off those laser Comanches, well, no, maybe they won't be of any consequence. We'll see. Firebase is tracking. As soon as the stealth reveal comes in, there's going to be 2 firebases lighting up this army. Khay currently has no idea. Kyle going deep into enemy territory. That stealth field being used to great effect. And there is the reveal as all of these units come back online. Khay is going to land his Raptors at the airfield. Goodbye to every one of those Comanches. Raptors get the quad cannons, pretty much all get cleaned up. Are you kidding me? The quad cannons in that first volley as the Raptors take flight. Rebel Surprise comes in as well, and the fire bases will be knocked down. Kyle, thinking that he had the 1-2 punch, almost got it off perfectly, but the Raptors quickly firing off a round of rockets, allowing Khay to cut down a big chunk of that army. I can't believe how much Khay just killed off in like 1 second with those Raptors quickly refueling. And now Kyle might not actually get the airfield. Those Molotov cocktails coming down. Okay, he will get the airfield, but that was close. I thought he wasn't even going to get the airfield for a couple of seconds there. Kyle comes in, stealthy attack, cuts down Khay. Khay has pivoted into the middle of the map. Fortunately, he has an airfield there, so his Raptors can go somewhere. That was a big move for Kyle. Khay, on the other hand, has set up into the middle of the map, dropping 2 fresh supply centers to get his economy back online. He's spread out his power plants as well, so those stealthy sneak attacks don't do as much as Kyle would like. Whatever was there on the front line just got deleted by those Raptors. And Kyle's ground army, Khay's ground army, excuse me, has been significantly cut down over the last couple of minutes. But Kyle has not stopped the spread of Khay. Where's this fella going? Oh! All right, well, it doesn't actually reach over to... It does kind of look like it reaches that far, but it doesn't actually affect the supply truck. So that supply truck is fine for now. A sneak attack in the back of the base as quad cannons pop out, and Khay has a new problem to deal with. The ground army is where Khay has been weak for a while, and that is going to be the source of the strength of these quad cannons. 1, 2, 3 going down, and the command center will fall. If Khay had not built a fresh command center in the middle of the map, things would be looking bad. Wow. Those A-10 Warthogs coming right through middle of the map. And yeah, the supply truck not taking any damage from that, and the command center survives just barely. The trade of bases as the GG comes in. Kyle has been defeated, and Khay takes the game. I thought Kyle was going to be able to punch through in that last moment, but no. Khay knocks down the army. The quad cannons got only the command center, and that seals the deal. And welcome back to Tournament Desert yet again. It's time for the Battle of the Barracks, because in the middle of the map, playing as the USA Super Weapons General, this is Khay. He's in the north, he's playing orange, and as the green in the south, this is Kyle. Barracks v. Barracks. I cannot believe that engineer survived. Even with half health, that's pretty amazing that that engineer survived. Ooh. Whitebert just brought me homemade French fries. And I did not realize what they were until she placed them down. And I actually looked down at them. Oh my gosh, those are so good. Do you mind if let's just pause the game for a minute so we can only have a French fry break. I'll eat some French fries. You guys have to get your own French fries, but I will eat these ones. War Factory before second supply, double supply. Actually, War Factory before second supply for both players. I didn't actually realize that Kyle had snuck out a War Factory there. Gats right onto the front line, shut down the barracks, forcing it to be rebuilt somewhere else. Cold fusion reactor, that's really far forward. I feel like Kay is going to pay the price for that cold fusion reactor that far forward in a little bit. Okay, that's not an engineer, that's a ranger. No missile defenders inside of that bunker, unfortunately, and Dragon Tank making its way to the front line. I'm sorry, Armored 13. I'm sorry if you don't have French fries. Oh man, those are so good. If I go silent at any point during this game, it's because I'm eating French fries. I know a lot of people hate the sound of eating, and on podcasts or whatever, when people eat into the microphone, I also hate it. So I'll try to limit that so that we all can keep our sanity. French fries in the day. What? What do you mean? It's 3 p.m., Dutch Army. When we ate French fries together in Utrecht, it wasn't much later than it is now. Midday. Yeah, I feel like French fries are a common combination with a burger, and a burger is a common lunch item, so... yeah, it works out. Dragon Tank getting struck down left, right, and center, it seems. Kay going to be pushing forward, but it's one Guardian Tank and 2 Rangers. So I think Kyle is going to be able to knock down 1 Guardian Tank. We'll see, though. He is China vanilla, so no nuclear Battlemasters or Battlemaster Mark IIs, nothing like that. He's got the boring old Battlemaster Mark I. He's going to have to play with the old toys. None of the new fancy things, none of the fun, exciting ones. EMP Patriot showing up, but there's a couple of tank hunters here, and they are not affected by that EMP Patriot. The fight of an EMP Patriot versus rocket troopers is pretty funny. Although the EMP Patriot... oh, I thought it was 2 volleys. It's not. It's 1. I thought it was 2 volleys for a Patriot to take out an infantry. I was like, this is going to take a long time. But no. It's actually 1 volley for a Patriot to knock down infantry. Guardian Tanks, the hero of K in the north. Yeah, 6 p.m. is not that far away from 3 p.m. Yeah, it's like we're in the same range. We're in the same ballpark. Battlemaster on the right side of the map, and it's going to be the War Factory that gets struck down by Kay. Trying to halt the expansion, but halting the production as well. It leaves only the Proxy War Factory in the middle of the map for Kyle. He's got 1 point of production. And fortunately for him, Kay has completely retreated back to the northern side of the map. If Kay was trying to pressure this War Factory in the middle, that would create a lot of problems for Kyle's production. But Kyle splits off to the left side of the map. Mass Gat over there. It's going to be lots of Guardian Tanks ready to engage. I'm actually kind of surprised Kay is willing to go this far outside of range of the EMP Patriots. The Guardian Tanks will win in a 1v1 with the Gats, but they would win even harder in a 1v1 if there were... oh, he actually has a laser painter. The Target Designator. I forgot about that, which of course is a feature from Red Alert 3 as well. I guess do the Avengers have a Target Designator? It's basically that. But the Guardian Tank from Red Alert 3 has made an appearance here in Gen Evo for the USA Super Weapons General. I mean, it looks very similar. It has the same kind of laser painter as the allies do in Red Alert 3. And it's going to be mass tank hunters, which will eat up these Guardian tanks. And now the Gats can get to work on the missile defenders of Kay. The infantry forces not long for this world as Kay gets cut down, but this bunker holds a lot of troopers inside of it. A Dragon Tank is going to be needed to bust open that bunker, or perhaps a MiG. This Proxy War Factory is actually kind of working out for Kyle. I thought Khay was going to be able to pressure that proxy war factory, but no. It's actually working out pretty well. And now we have missile defenders versus missile defenders, which is truly a battle for the ages because it would take a literal age, however long that is, a literal age to resolve itself. 8 missile defenders on each side, or 8, rocket troops on each side. Laser lock comes in, catches the dragon tank. No, it's not enough. The Gats and the dragon lay waste to those missile defenders, and that is the end of that fight. Long distance mining for that supply truck. One of the unfortunate side effects of the economy system in Gen Evo is those supply trucks will go for walks when you didn't ask them to. Dragon tank goes down. Expansion in the middle of the map. Maybe cut short for Kyle. He's almost got it under control, but it's just too many Guardian tanks. Kyle was almost ready to set up. He had the Gat cannon, he had the expansion on the way, but he didn't have enough forces to keep the build radius around. Guardian tanks now going to be backing off, trying to trade away against as many Gat cannons as they can before the RPG troopers show up. As soon as the tank hunters close the distance, the tanks become a lot less effective. And in this case, they're just going to keep running away. And goodbye as those Guardian tanks leave the map. They just head off to the side. Arty Strike fires off, probably going to catch one of these supply centers. As the Battle Master goes down, oh, it's the one all the way over here. Knocks down the supply truck, maybe? Actually, no, the supply truck did manage to avoid it. The second supply truck was on a walk, so it actually did survive. EMP locks down the barracks, locks down the war factory, but just as that happens, a second war factory comes online in the back line. Kyle managing to get his production back online despite the EMP Alpha Raptors, which are now available to Khay. An additional command center. This extra bit of build radius, if you're not familiar with how massive the build radius is in Gen Evo 0.3, that extra bit of distance actually makes a huge distance in how far you can put buildings. And as far as body blocking and deploying base defenses, that can make a huge difference to an attack. Is Khay... Okay, I thought Khay was just going to run for the hills and try to, like, initiate a base trade or something. Normally, you don't want a base trade unless you have very few other options. But we'll see if Khay feels like he is forced into that. Command center is now online. The build radius is about to get insane. And it might just be a couple of EMP Patriots that get deployed. For now, the Guardian tanks are going to back away. It's mass tank hunters on the front for Kyle. He is happy to let Khay send his tanks into this mass tank hunter line. By the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Squish, Squatlock, Tuning Fork, Yannick, Jacob R, Michael H, Monty C R, Ian W, Boomer Q. As the Humvees roll through the base of Kyle, Khay finally has an answer to the mass infantry of Kyle. The Guardian tanks managed to skirt the infantry army of Kyle long enough to avoid death and let those Humvees do their work. How much that power plant actually did a surprising amount. There's the firestorms finally landing. No black napalm just yet. A command center starting. I think that's a bit of a misclick in the middle of his base. Supply truck's going down. It's low power mode, and the airfield is now under threat. One more firestorm might be able to be initiated. No, they didn't have enough time to get another firestorm started. One MiG does go down. Another MiG almost falls, but now the airfield will die, and the black napalm upgrade has been purchased. The firestorm doesn't fire off, but it is enough damage to knock down 2 of those Guardians. And this might actually, that command center might have actually just been a pathing move more than anything. As the fire sale comes out, Kyle is going to tap out in this one. The GG comes in, and the Firestorm's Amurg 13 comes in at just the last moment, just for you. And in 10 minutes, we get a very fast and furious, action-packed tournament desert match. Welcome back to Lone Eagle for another 2v2. We'll see. We'll see where this one goes. Lone Eagle is not my favorite 2v2 map, but sometimes it does furnish us with some pretty cool, well, some pretty action-packed and fun games. Meanwhile, on the north side, playing as the purple-blue team, this is Laser Comanche. Living up to his name, he is playing the USA Laser General. I guess he might not actually build any Laser Comanches. We'll see. But he at least has the opportunity to build them. Meanwhile, on the south side, playing as the China Nuke, this is E1A2. Laser Comanche and E1A2 making up the northern team. Purple and blue are their color choices. On the southern side, we have a player that I am unfamiliar with playing as the Vanilla China. This is King-Mora. Canceling that building, deciding to place it somewhere else, and once again, playing USA Laser, it is Khay. Khay and King-Mora. Maybe King-Mora is a smurf for someone. I'm not 100% sure. It is going to be Airfield. Very quick Airfield. One expansion in the back, one over here, and then into an Airfield. Wow. A China Vanilla player that is going that fast into Airfield is not what I normally expect to see. Meanwhile, E1A2 is going for China Nuke, and he is believing in the nuclear battle masters. He knows that if he just gets close, when he dies, the tank will do the rest. And this is completely denied 50% of the economy, 50% of the income of King-Mora, shutting down one of those supply centers, and the GAT gets the kill on the MiG as well. The GAT goes down, the Nuclear Battlemaster goes down, but those are losses that E1A2 is going to be okay with. This game exploding right from the beginning. Oh my gosh, MiGs as well. No, like, super fast expansion, kill the bridges. Well, I mean, someone killed the bridges on the north side of the map, but this is not like the sit down and turtle kind of starting that I was expecting from this map. We'll see if the aggression keeps up, if the action keeps taking place, or if these guys just sort of trade armies, destroy the last two bridges, and then hunker down and build out slowly. Airfield coming up 4K. It is USA Laser and China Nuke versus USA Laser and China Vanilla. So it's almost a perfect mirror matchup here, but it is not quite because the China Vanilla bunker does come up. It does buy some time for King-Mora, but not a lot of time. Khay, on the other hand, has a laser defense, which is actually doing some significant damage. Humvees go in. The GATs, for whatever reason, were just standing by and watching. So now they're going to try and move in after the laser Humvees have already gone down, which just seems like a bad idea. Either you attack together, or you, well, really shouldn't attack at all in this case. Khay gets a kill with his laser Humvee, and the MiGs come in for E1A2, but they get lit up and destroyed. One MiG will be able to escape back out to the north side of the map. Laser Comanche, where's the airfield, man? He went War Factory, Command Center. He is going Command Center into the middle of the map, so, well, we'll see. The battle lines are being drawn. The stalemate may be beginning as a command center gets deployed nearly in the middle of the map. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. But Laser Comanche, not rushing to Laser Comanches. So I'm a little bit upset about that, but we'll get over it, I'm sure. Firestorm ignites. No, the missiles were split, so the Firestorm doesn't ignite, and honestly, that's probably a good thing because the splash damage from the Firestorm might have actually done more harm than good. So King-Mora managing to split up those missiles. Probably a good thing overall. Gatling tanks joined together. Command center has finished building, and now we get our airfield. War factory in the back line, but there will probably be a second war factory added on near the front, at least for one of these players. I would kind of be surprised if they both kept their war factories back a little bit further. RD Strike fires off. Not sure for whom the bell tolls, but I guess we'll see. Oh, okay. MiG Strike in the north, RD Strike in the south. One supply truck goes down in the south. Two supply trucks go down in the north. That Firestorm ignites but doesn't burn down the supply center. Paladins out on the map. double laser defense in the middle. No, actually, it's double firebase. Never mind. Double firebase in the middle. Hey, you always got to go with whatever works for your army, and not having the additional power requirement of laser defenses is good for the laser general. Bye-bye. One firebase does get cleaned up. Migs on in the air, circling above. Ah, fresh command center. That is a backup command center for King-Mora. It is placed, you know, in his friend's base, kind of on the opposite side of the map of his own command center. And he adds on this, or Khay adds on the strategy center behind that. Second airfield going to be coming up. So King-Mora, suddenly I'm feeling like this is Cloud based on his love of airfields. King-Mora, you know, it might be a play that I'm just not quite familiar with. Seems to be like a reasonably competent player. He's not made any. His economy is on point. He hasn't made any goofball mistakes as far as I have seen. So it could be a Smurf. It could be someone else entirely. It could be, you know, or it could be, you know, just someone that I don't know the name of, and not a Smurf. But if he is not a Smurf, well, then he and Cloud should get a coffee, because they both love airfields so much that it's something that they could bond over. Supply drop zones coming up. Internet centers here as well. And yes, we are now into the heart of it. All right. We may need to press that fast forward button if this stays like this much longer. MiGs in the air. Do we have a nuke coming up? No, it's another command center. Wow, okay. King-Mora loves command centers and airfields, apparently. 3 command centers for the China player. And Khay, on the other hand, he has the strategy center. It doesn't look like he has many supply drop zones, if any. He is getting a particle cannon. Laser cannon. You know, you get the red laser, the red particle laser, if you are a laser commander. The nukes from the north will not land from the nuke cannon as it gets cleaned up. The fire bases inching their way forward. A couple of Patriot lasers as well. 1 MiG goes down. MiGs coming in. They catch not the Firestorm. They catch a couple of Gats, but not the Firestorm ignition that he was hoping for. MiGs find a safe place to land. And what is this? Uh-oh, Laser Comanche. He may be redeeming himself. He's got a name that he's not living up to, but he may indeed be using some Chinooks in a very fun way. We'll see if it actually provides the extra mobility that this map needs. MiGs returning from another strike. Looks like maybe they took down some base defenses. Khay sneaks a Humvee past the front line of defenses, but not past the Gat cannon. Man, those Gat cannons do so much damage. Just cleaning up that Laser Comanche nice and Laser Comanche. That Laser Humvee nice and easy. All right. We have got Chinooks. We have got Humvees and Avengers loaded to the gills with all sorts of units. And now they get loaded into the Comanches, or into the Chinooks. If you are the Air Force General, then you get combat Chinooks. And you don't need to load stuff into them as much. MiG strike coming in, going for the nuke. Not enough MiGs have made it to the drop zone. And unfortunately, many of them will die on exit. They get the nuke down to like 3/4. So if there's a support power or 2... RD strike? Yeah. If there's a support power that can land, maybe it'll finish off that nuke. But you really want to hit it all at the same time so that you can clean up the health bar and not give them time to repair that. And that looked like a tier 1 RD strike. That wasn't even a tier 3 RD strike. So it didn't have maximum damage. The nuke, I think, will land. It's 1 minute and 15, basically, until it fires off. Then in the south, we got 2 particle cannons before the next nuke, possibly. Oh, big nuclear explosion catches all 3 Overlord tanks. I'm actually genuinely surprised all 3 of them went down. That was a massive nuke MiG strike coming in. Raptors have managed to sneak by. Can they find a bit of damage? That nuclear missile is down to half health. down to a quarter health, 50 seconds on the clock. And that nuke does go down, but it was not the one that was short on time. And now over the base, these Chinooks find their targets. The Avengers not able to keep everything alive. One Avenger perhaps going down, or a Humvee, as there are 3 Avengers left. Gats are here. Quad cannons, Gats, mini gunners, all good things to use against this strategy. Airfield will get camped out, and every single Raptor will go down. Khay, finally, someone catches him on the deck and lights up his Raptors. MiGs coming through, massive hits against these Chinooks, but none of them going down, none of them hitting. The MiGs all go down. 3 seconds on the clock until the first nuke fires off. The airfield goes down. The internet centers are the next potential target, or even the propaganda center to shut down the tech of the red Chinese player. And the nuke will find its spot over here in the top left. And goodbye to whatever was trying to build there. Actually, basically everything does survive. Only that supply center ends up going down, unfortunately, for Khay. Okay, it looks like the frame rate did recover. Those nukes, there's something about them that the interpolation software does not like. It's too many moving parts, perhaps. Something about that. But it looks like we are back now. Laser Chinooks getting cleaned up from Laser Comanche, and everything goes down. He nearly had the perfect strike, but he doesn't quite find it. Pretty good first particle cannon. 40 seconds until the next one. 2 nukes get added on, but it's low power mode for King-Mora. He just doesn't have the electricity to keep things online. Avengers are here. Laser turrets will go down, and barracks is getting added on. Khay is going to have to back away from these Overlord tanks. These are speed Overlords running over with the like nuke speed upgrade that they get. The nuclear Overlords are so fast by comparison to regular Overlord tanks. Laser Comanches showing up, 4K, one of them fully heroic, the other one just barely here. King-Mora comes online, but now his nuke is going to explode before he wanted. A chunk of the command center will burn down. Unfortunately, 4K, he is not going to be happy about that. And meanwhile, on the north side of the map, it is going to be the laser from the sky, which takes down more and more of the base. Paladins pushing forward, particle tanks as well. He forgot to pack along the anti-air, as unfortunately 4K, his base gets trashed. He is going to stand up against the power, but no, an Avenger shows up, and the nuke cannon, just adding insult to injury, is irradiating the entire base of Khay. More particle cannons get added on as more units stream across the map, and it may be a shorter game for Khay than he was expecting. The explosions lighting up the screen, every corner of Khay's base eviscerated by those nuclear weapons. 10 seconds until the next particle cannon fires off. Mass infantry coming out from Laser Comanche. He's hoping that he can make this work with this second wave. Ooh, low power mode at just the wrong time. MiGs are going to land. Another nuclear missile being added on for King-Mora. He's got less than 4 minutes until the next one. Another particle cannon firing off, I think, on the north side. And low power mode almost striking, but no. E1A2 has kept the lights on, at least for now. The attack on Khay has slowed down a little bit here. Massive damage there from that MiG strike. And E1A2, his army, is mostly just infantry, as that nuke cannon defensively doing big damage and also offensively. Radiation knocking down some of these tank hunters. What looked like a united front from Laser Comanche and E1A2 coming through, and oh, another nuke cannon gets caught right out of the gate. That Warthog strike, but what looked like a united front didn't quite work out to end the game. Khay has been severely dogpiled, and Khay has a couple of particle cannons, which have been maybe keeping him in this game. Chinooks will unload a massive amount of missile defenders near the particle cannons of Khay. At least one of these should go down as these missile defenders jump into as many buildings as they can. Mass infantry is going to be the follow-up. Mass Gats coming in for E1A2. Action exploding in all areas of the map as another firestorm fires off, and suddenly Laser Comanche doesn't have quite as many forces as he was hoping. Nuclear cannons landing their shots, and these Gats are actually going to be pulling away to the north side. Khay bringing in another laser blast to take the power offline and to hamstring Laser Comanche once again. The infantry trying to bring down those particle cannons, and Khay's base just has so few defenses that even Gat tanks can come in here and blast away at an internet center. The particle cannon will go down. Almost enough damage. The last couple of rockets need to land, but no, the Gats back off. The firestorm lands, and that particle cannon is so close to death it finally goes down. Khay has lost his first particle cannon, but fortunately, it wasn't the one that was 5 seconds away from activation. Power plant after power plant. Those laser weapons and vehicles are of no use here. Khay burning down those power plants, making sure that that power stays offline for as long as possible. E1A2, he doesn't have the big flashy moves, but his constant parade push of units across the map has been intolerable for the Southern team. They have been unable to fully push back E1A2, and now his next nuke is ready to fire off. It will be on top of these MiGs. We'll see it land for just a moment, and then we'll click away to try and preserve the frame rate for a moment. Still, one building did not get cleared. Laser Comanche with these rocket troopers is going to try and bring down that command center. Airfields being rebuilt in the rubble, in the dust of the previous airfields, and that was a great spot for E1A2. The MiGs have been doing massive damage, like those MiGs, for example. The MiGs of King-Mora have been doing massive, massive damage. Wow, how long ago did Khay knock down that, did Khay knock out that power, that it is still down, that it is still out, that it is unable to recover? There we go. We got the rehook. And here it goes. Unfortunately for the team in the south, there is only so much damage you can sustain over time. Khay has put an admirable effort into stopping his laser opponent from getting online. King-Mora being the stalwart shield, the never-ending line of defense against E1A2's never-ending attacks. King-Mora and E1A2 have felt very evenly matched for much of the game, and a new nuke will fire off somewhere. It looks like in the north, King-Mora finally lands a nuke and then maybe like immediately sells it off, as he has not much left on the ground. King-Mora and Khay trying to come together to make the defense happen. Oh, a new particle cannon. This time from the north. It's been so long since those particle cannons were built. I'm not sure what the time is on it, but it was about 45 minutes, it felt like, for that 5-minute, for the 4 or 5 minute countdown to happen. Laser Crusaders come to the aid and to the defense of King-Mora, but a new laser particle cannon is ready to fire off for Laser Comanche. It is a never-ending parade push from the north. And it hasn't totally landed. Onto the nuke. No low power mode just yet. Although Khay goes, I think, briefly into low power mode. No low power mode just yet. Another Overlord tank does go down. The Overlord's getting targeted one after another, but the Battle Masters are starting to fill out the ranks. If these infantry ever move forward, they might actually be able to get something done. Khay is just non-stop producing tanks. He has somehow managed to pivot back into Laser Crusaders and to actually make that work. Laser Comanche's coming forward. MiGs calling in the shots, but it's going to be a carpet bomb on top of the MiGs. Right as they land, they get off the deck, but they do not refuel, they do not rearm, and they will fall to pieces. Carpet bomb lands once again. Low power mode for Laser Comanche. As many upgraded power plants as he made, it's still not enough to keep the lights on. The electricity bill doesn't get paid, and he finds himself yet again with paused timers, but he does have them back online now. Nope, they're frozen again. He just cannot keep anything online here. Low power mode for those particle cannons. He was online for just a second. All right, King-Mora has another nuke, and in 30 seconds, he'll have one more. E1A2 has lost all of his nukes. He has been focusing entirely on his ground army. He might have been able to take that army. He maybe backed off. Oh, he backed off because nuke is going to land somewhere up north. Yeesh. Low power mode perhaps once again. MiGs crossing the map back to their base. A-10 Warthog strike will cross with a carpet bomb as well, trying to break the front line, break open the front door, and stop this base creep from pushing the front line even further forward. That carpet bomb combo with the A-10 Warthog strike actually did do something to hold that back, and this army is going to have to push hard into enemy territory. Don't back up. You backed up. I told you not to back up. I told you not to back up. And that is what happens when you back up. The nuke goes absolutely everywhere. It just spreads out. And Khay now into low power mode himself. Khay and King-Mora feel like they have been holding off everything in the world forever. And they basically have. The fact that they are still in this game is remarkable. They just have been fighting tooth and nail and have basically been knocked down, but somehow are still breathing. The return fire, carpet bomb for carpet bomb, nuke for nuke, particle cannon for particle cannon. We are down to 6 total nukes, or 6 total super weapons in this game. Supply trucks get a couple of crushes here, and reinforcements on the move for these players in the north. Particle tanks are now here. E1A2 circling over the middle of the map, hoping to land those shots. Another particle cannon fires off in the north. Cleans up the supply trucks, or cleans up the supply drop zones. Nope. Supply centers. I'll get there eventually. Cleans up the supply centers and takes the power offline once again. Khay struggling to deal with these missile defenders time and time again. The flashbangs will clean them up as that one laser ranger goes heroic. And the battle never stops raging on the lower half of the map. It is something about the never-ending parade push on this map through the middle of it. Khay has a new problem to deal with. Laser Comanche has finally busted through Khay's defenses, and he's going to land a massive carpet bomb on top of that. Oh no. Oh no, Khay's defense! It's a laser from the sky. The defense is a laser from the sky. The reinforcements are still coming all the way across the map, but those lasers from the sky are an incredibly powerful defensive tool. Laser Comanche, on the other hand, has 2 lasers ready to go, 2 particle cannons ready to fire off, and he is going to be bringing the pain. E1A2 has his own assault that he is working on. He has his own way of thinking, and it is pure tank spam. Tanks just crushing through all defenses. Tanks moving forward, never stopping. Khay and King-Mora have been nearly defeated, but they are holding on for dear life, holding on against all hope, holding on as long as they possibly can. Well, I don't know that it'll change anything, but they are holding on for now. Fresh infantry, fresh particle tanks, fresh carpet bomb. Oh man, 2 particle tanks getting tagged by that carpet bomb. A-10 Warthog strike finds its mark. King-Mora's main base is basically done. It's functionally depleted. And it's about to be literally overrun. Khay and King-Mora, they've been on the back foot for a good long while now. Not leaving the game just yet, hoping for those last couple of particle cannons to save them. And I mean, all of the nukes have gone away. Only the particle cannons remain. Only the USA super weapons are strong enough to hold off against all of this firepower. Another carpet bomb coming in. Oh, Moab. Moab from the sky. All right, I feel like it's wrapped up, but these guys have not actually left the game yet. 1 particle cannon does remain for Khay. King-Mora, I'm not actually... Oh, he has 1 power plant over here. I was like, he has an oil derrick, but what does he have beyond that? Low power mode for Khay, the thing that hamstrung Laser Comanche for so long, has been a problem for Khay as well. And GG gets called. That will do it for this game on Lone Eagle. A 2v2 that started with big attacks and basically never stopped. It just kept going and going and going and going. And those attacks just were never ending, especially from E1A2. The guy was pushing forever, shoving more and more and more units. I'm honestly surprised that that the unit loss numbers are that like far apart. But I mean, almost everybody over everyone over 150. The average is probably like 200 units per player. Sheesh. Big losses all across the board, but I'm surprised no one cracked 300. It did feel like a lot of units, but that will do it for that game. Some big super weapons firing off in that one. Welcome to Armored Fury for a 3v3. The money crates in the middle of the map do not mean that this is a random crate spawning game. It just means that on this particular map, there are random money crates there, which is kind of fun that there's a little bit of a cash boost on this map for no like particular reason. But I just like that one of the maps has a cash boost. Anyways, this is north versus south, or maybe more specifically northeast versus southwest in the top right-hand corner. This is sample 88. He's the 88th sample to be made. What happened to the first 87? We don't know. Anyways, he's purple. He's China Tank. Playing as the red China Tank. This is TargetMonkey, who was hanging out in the chat. I don't know if he still is. But their teammate playing as the green. Can you guess? China tank in the southern position on the northern side. This is Kyle. China tank, China tank, China tank. You'll never guess what is on the south side. Well, playing as the USA Laser, as the Rust, this is Pashios. In the middle on the south side, playing as the Minty Green, this is Giraffecob. He is China tank as well. And in the northern position, as the USA Laser, it's CRYSIS. 6 players, and 4 of them are playing China tank. 4 of them are China tank, and 2 are USA Air. Did I not say Hostile Dawn? The map is Hostile Dawn. Yeah, this is Hostile Dawn. Did I say Armored Fury or something? Ooh, and it looks like Giraffecob got the majority of these cash boxes. No one has gone for the oil derricks in the middle of the map just yet. We do have a couple of dots moving towards the middle. There's also 2 garages on this map. One has been gathered by the team in the north. The other one is being assaulted by the team in the north. Kyle seems happy to burn down this garage and not let it be captured, if that is indeed his plan with this dragon tank. Garages are extremely powerful for anyone who builds a lot of tanks. And when you have 20,000 players all playing China tank, then that is just what happens. Garages are very important, and double garage, I don't think actually provides double the repair, but it is nice to deny that from your opponent. 6 gats in the middle of the map. It doesn't matter how much repair you have if it's 6 gats gunning down your gats like that. There is very little that you can do about that. Oil derricks also in the corner of the map. There's 8 of them total, 4 in the north, 4 in the south. And Kyle does not want those to be around for very long either. Takes them down one by one. Meanwhile, the gats from Giraffecob make their way into the main base of TargetMonkey, pushing through the defenses and easily defeating everyone at the front door. I guess they're just going to go for supply trucks. They could try and sneak around the base a little bit longer. They might even be able to get this last Battlemaster if the repairs are good enough. 3 versus... Ooh, he could have taken down that middle Gatling tank much more quickly, and that would have actually left the other 2 Gatling tanks much weaker. But the Battlemaster does go down. The reinforcements will knock down this last Gatling tank. And the team in the north has gone for the corners pretty hard. They are hoping to completely lock down those corners. Meanwhile, Giraffecob has secured the middle of the map. He's got those oil derricks, which is good for him, and he was able to push into TargetMonkey's base, which was also good for him because it kept TargetMonkey from the middle of the map. It kept him from pushing out to the other side of the map. By the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Savage Regime, Brett A., Brian, Gabriel F., BBB, Havasman, Razorcrest, and Lieutenant Victor as well. And as the Gats and Battlemasters roll into the middle of the map, it is going to be a fight in all corners, it seems. The corners have their edges of advantage, and the middle of the map has the oil derricks. But Battlemasters beat Gats, and so TargetMonkey strikes first and knocks down Giraffecob just a little bit. But as you probably know, team games in Gen Evo are often decided by super weapons. Bunker won't quite get knocked down by 4 MiGs, even with Black Napalm, but the next strike will clear out that bunker, and these bunkers can house so many units. They are so important to take those down so that your opponent doesn't stick, 8 missile defenders in there, or maybe even 9 in there, and completely shred your tanks as you drive past them. Arty Strike fired off somewhere. I didn't actually see the battle marker on the screen, and Kyle has somehow stretched all the way down from here into the middle of the map, and with this command center, he has insane reach. I imagine he can put buildings right up to his opponent's front door. I don't think you can build onto the high ground with the way that the build mechanics work. But you can at least get to your opponent's front door, and this front door is pretty wide open. There's no air support to knock down this bunker, so it is going to be 1 or 2 tanks that fall to this bunker, and the missile defenders are here behind this. They will be able to clean up a couple of these tanks. More missile defenders going to be coming in here for Crisis, but this is a ton of Battle Masters. It's going to be laser Humvees to follow up and to try and stop this rush of tanks on the south side. Kyle is moving forward with his own tanks. It's China tank from every direction. From the south, Giraffecob maybe has been able to strike out into the main base. And yes, Giraffecob has done something. He has snuck gats into the main base of Kyle and cuts down, I don't know what he was building there, but an internet center is started up in replacement of whatever was there. And Kyle has completely turned around. His entire attack, which was going to try and go up the hill, has been completely turned around. And he is heading for his own main base, hoping that he will be able to stop the bleeding. Giraffecob not queuing up the attacks on these gats will mean that this command center has a few extra seconds of life for these reinforcements to show up and to clear out these gats. Meanwhile, the main base in the south is slowly but surely going to be made safe. I assume there are only 2 Battle Masters left as another arty strike fires off. There is the potential of so many artillery strikes to be landing anywhere on this map. And once we get all 4 of these China tank players up to tier 3 arty strikes, it's going to be a pretty massive amount of firepower that can be rained down. I mean, especially if the team in the north coordinates all 3 of their strikes at the same time or in the same place. I think that would be enough to knock down a super weapon. If someone in the south built a super weapon, I'm pretty sure the artillery strikes could all bring it down. The tier 3 artillery strike does have a bit of a countdown timer on it, but having an additional super weapon like that would be very nice, and it doesn't cost anything to build. You don't need the initial investment. It can't be knocked down. It can't be depowered. I guess you could lose your command centers, but yeah. Particle tanks on the high ground, a favorite of laser generals, but that arty strike might actually be destined for the top of this hill. And indeed it is, as Pashios backs away from the front door. Middle of the map, surprisingly, has avoided a lot of destruction. I mean, this is surprisingly untouched for where this game was going. The garages are a huge advantage, but I feel like a lot of these tank fights haven't actually been lasting long enough for the garages to matter. Most of the tanks have been getting hit with overwhelming firepower and just getting knocked down pretty close to immediately. Oh, spy drone spawns in. Spy drone immediately goes down. But actually that Overlord on the retreat is healing up a nice amount. Particle tanks not quite far enough range to burn those tanks down. They might get it here. One particle tank closes in, a second and a third. That Overlord fighting for dear life to stay in this game. And Pashios comes down the ramp, but a massive strike at the front of Giraffecob. He's keeping these oil derricks under his control for as long as possible, just constantly streaming more and more units forward. And the low power mode has struck Pashios right as the MiGs come in. Fortunately, every tank that goes down has the opportunity to bring Pashios back into power. And whatever he is doing, he is producing too many units or not enough power plants or too many buildings, a combination of all of those things perhaps. And Giraffecob pushes through the middle of the map, the first player to get a nuke. But will he be the first player to actually use a nuke and fire it off? Overlord is there in the south. Giraffecob trying to execute a pincer movement as he closes in with reinforcements. MiGs moving out to the middle of the map as another arty strike fires off. And the Overlord's on full retreat. Kyle unable to keep his base extended out as far as it is. He was hoping to take the fight to his enemy, and the result is the fight has been brought to his front door. Inch by inch, he's getting pushed further and further back. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, TargetMonkey has finally made it out of his front door, and he may actually be able to take the middle of the map away from Giraffecob. He may actually be able to do a bit of damage. against Giraffecob. CRYSIS, happy to sit in his base and build up. He's got a massive army of particle tanks, 6 of them even, in the middle of the map. And TargetMonkey backs off 4 nukes, now counting down. 4 different colored nukes counting down in this map. MiGs off the deck. Firestorm ignites. Backs away from the front line. And these NIGs, these MiGs, unable to stop the advance. But they can slow it down. Big Firestorm lands, burns down a couple of the tanks, cleans up the missile defenders as well. Digital Ronin doesn't like having all of the players play the same general. I can definitely see that. It is a lot of tanks. And I mean, even the non-China tank players are just playing USA Laser. That is so many missile defenders on the high ground. 3 overlords just get cut to pieces by those infantry. That was just massive. And the tank parade push hasn't stopped. Kyle, I didn't actually realize that his front door has been completely knocked wide open. I guess you could use nukes defensively in a couple of minutes when they count down, but this is going to be a lot of self-harm involved in that. Reinforcements coming in from TargetMonkey will be able to save Kyle, at least for now. Kyle extending all out into the middle of the map, even so bold as to build his 1 nuke out in the middle of the map. Will now pay the price as all of that stuff gets cut off from his production. And I think he had 1 or 2 war factories out in the middle of the map. So as soon as that war factory went down, his production got halved. And he has this 1 war factory back in his main base. His nuke is exposed, but it hasn't actually gone down yet. Kyle, unable to keep his stuff safe. And as soon as Pashios got down the hill, he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. ECM's now on the front line. Avengers here as well for Pashios. What is this? Okay, that's that 1 tank that got trapped behind enemy lines. And I'm surprised that it's just been tanks moving into their opponent's bases. Helixes getting cleaned up, and Giraffecob taking an opportunity of TargetMonkey responding in the south. Giraffecob and CRYSIS have joined forces to try and push open into the north and get some damage done. Giraffecob going deep into enemy territory. I don't know, his best hope might be just to take the power offline, to take as many of those super weapons out of the equation as he can, but TargetMonkey rolls in with a ton of tanks and crushes through that army. Meanwhile, on the south side, CRYSIS is coming through with his own defense, holding the bottom of the hill, keeping TargetMonkey and Kyle locked on the high ground and stopping anyone from escaping. The corner of the map still has not been taken back. Kyle and the entire team in the north getting extra value out of every single tank because they have so many repairs. And look at that preventative firestorm, literally just trying to create space, push the army back. Particle tanks picking off a few targets. One ECM goes down, 2nd ECM gets burned, 3rd. It's going to be Heroic Battlemaster. That is pretty heroic healing abilities with the Garage, with the heroic status. Arty Strike fires off. 3 nukes. 1 nuke maybe already fired off, but 1 nuke about to be timed out. Giraffecob is going to have that nuke very soon. Arty Strike and a Firestorm both landing. Where is this guy? All right, so Giraffecob's is actually kind of close to the front door. I don't know, I feel like 8 or 12 MiGs could knock that down. Kyle lost his nuke that was in the corner. It was good to finally shut that down. Massive army could be the target of Giraffecob's nuke. He might also go for the infrastructure in one of the corners, try and shut that down. MiGs come in. Once again, a preventative strike intentionally in front of the army. Proxy War Factory will take some damage. Laser Paladins moving forward. One of them heroic, one double vet, and another heroic as well. Overlords trading against the Paladins, and the Paladins will clean up a couple of tanks to slow down the push. The nuke is ready to go, and we'll see if Giraffecob finds a healthy target, a big army that he's able to clean up. But no, he may not even need to, because a massive firestorm lands in the middle of that army and chews through everything. The garage was captured by Pashios, but it has not been very long held, and it will be brought down by Kyle, I guess. I kind of thought it was going to be TargetMonkey who actually got the kill. Under 1 minute on a bunch of these nukes. 2 nukes have counted down to 0. The last of the oil derricks in the south go down. All of the oil derricks in the north have been preserved, at least for now. 2 nukes ready to go. 2 nukes, 3 nukes under 1 minute, and a 4th nuke about to cross the sub 1 minute mark. 1 nuke fires off. It will land, I think, in the north. In this army. No. Oh, way over here. I completely missed it. Way over there. As it cleans up maybe some internet centers. I thought it was going to be on the army, and then I thought I saw the green dot over here. I was like, okay, maybe he's going for Kyle, but no. It is instead going to be way up in the north on the infrastructure. 2 nukes from the northern team ready to go. Another nuke mere moments away, and then a couple of more nukes after that. There's going to be a massive amount of nukes firing off and ready to fire off. So many sirens launching. So many nukes coming crashing down. 3 nukes just laying waste to the entire base in the south. And yet, the internet centers pretty much all survived it. CRYSIS moving his forces out of the way. He has defended his homeland once again. Sample 88 tries to push up onto the high ground, and he's not able to do it. Meanwhile, Kyle and TargetMonkey are going to take use of this opportunity, find a moment of clarity to push down Pashios' front door. MiGs come in on top of that war factory. The MiG strike directly in front of any reinforcements that try to emerge. Massive nukes could still land with 2 of them ready to go from Sample 88. He can clear out the entire army of CRYSIS if he wanted. TargetMonkey will eventually be cleaned up, it seems, but not before huge infrastructure damage has been done to Pashios. Pashios is not out of it, but he is very close to out of it. He has very little left on the map, and it's up to CRYSIS to make up for Pashios in this game. TargetMonkey will get caught and encircled in the south, but this does still leave the door open for 2 more nukes to fire down upon the team in the south. TargetMonkey responding in the north, in the middle of the map, to CRYSIS as the nukes do get called in once again on the base. No, actually 1 lands on the army and 1 lands on the base. The return fire, it is going to be the Moab, or the Carpet Bomb, looking for its next target. The Carpet Bomb will hit the army and force it back, but that won't be the end of the troubles for the team in the south. This attack has all but destroyed Pashios. He did manage to sneak out a command center. He is rebuilding a supply center. He does have a power plant, so he will be able to stay in this game, but he is functionally out of it. Yeah, there is a limit super weapon option. It is just built into the game, though. It's only 3 super weapons per player. Oh, I guess if you mean like a checkbox in the game settings where you can only build like 1 super weapon per player. No, they don't have that, but it's not like 0 Hour where you can build unlimited super weapons. There is, I think, something limiting in the way that Red Alert 3 handles super weapons. Carpet Bomb comes in. 1 power plant will get caught. CRYSIS beaconing. He is in crisis mode indeed, as a whole new column of tanks rolls up his front door and basically cuts him off from his allies. Massive damage from those super weapons, and look at that. There's another one ready to go yet again. The never-ending parade of tanks seems to be followed up by a never-ending parade of super weapons. Giraffecob has been defeated. CRYSIS has been defeated. Pashios has been defeated. The nuke lands, and the GG gets called, as that will be the end of this game. A 3v3 that got pretty crazy action and basically never stopped. Those big, huge pushes are so iconic in Gen Evo. That is how all of these big team games go, and I mean, hey, that is what the map design also dictates for these big team games. Welcome to Forgotten Forest for the next game in this series. It will be a 1v1 in the north, playing as the USA Vanilla. This is E1A2. Meanwhile, in the south, as the USA Air Force, this is TargetMonkey. USA Vanilla versus USA Air Force. It may not be as much of a joke matchup as USA Air Force versus USA Air Force, and indeed, we already have a War Factory coming out from our northern player, E1A2, choosing to go for that War Factory. By the way, a big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Queon Lee, David B., Swordwer, Abalaba, Autorixy, Chris A., and Cameron S. Firebase getting added on in the south. Our first Humvee getting constructed in the north. Always fun to see infinite Humvees, but we'll try not to judge this game too harshly until we know if it is actually an infinite Humvees kind of game or if it is going to be something with a little bit more variety in it. Expansion comes up nice and quick from TargetMonkey in the south. Expansion is going to be basically the same timing in the north. E1A2 a little bit faster on the oil derricks as well, and he is going to get both oil derricks. So E1A2 with the clear edge in the first part of this game. I think he did go War Factory first, so like his second supply was slower, but his third supply was faster, and he got both oil derricks. So he's actually going to get a power plant here. Last volley, but he will have to trade out the Humvee for it. It will be a trade, one Humvee for one Humvee, and no eject. Oh, the evac from TargetMonkey was a little bit slow, and so he did not evac those units. He loses all of those missile defenders, and look at that, 5 missile defenders, like 1,500 credits, escape for E1A2. So he gets the oil derricks, he gets the power plant, he trades one Humvee for one Humvee, but his missile defenders escape, and the others don't. War Factories out on the map, triple expansion for both players, and now the airfield gets added on for TargetMonkey. Oh, okay, they call it tournament mode? I didn't realize in Zero Hour they called it tournament mode, the one super weapon per player mode. But airfield coming in. It is going to be the Rock V game. We do have an airfield from TargetMonkey, so maybe he'll try and utilize some King Raptors or something. Maybe he'll try and mix it up a little bit, but it does look like it is going to be the Rock V game from both players. Oil derrick goes down. E1A2 isn't going to be terribly, terribly sad about that, but you know, it is always nice to have those oil derricks. It's always nice to keep them around a little longer if you can. And, well, this Humvee is going to pay the price. Might be able to trade out one Humvee for another. Nope, the trade is not 1 for 1. E1A2 does escape. His airfield is a little bit slower, and of course, his units will be worse because of it. Strategy Center getting added on as well. E1A2 is going for the tech, and this is the opportunity for TargetMonkey to either... Okay, he's going to double Command Center. Not what I would have expected. I thought he was instead going to maybe go on the offense, but I guess we'll see. Second oil derrick will get knocked down. TargetMonkey has decided, I don't want to recapture these. I just don't want you to have them. And hey, identifying those oil derricks nice and early and knocking them down if you are not going to recapture them, great plan for that. You never want those oil derricks to stick around any longer than absolutely necessary for your opponent. Look at that, the evac on the Humvee. He thought that guy was going to go down, but no. He does just deny the strategy center. Nice win here for E1A2. Stealth Comanches are here. They may be able to jump on top of those Humvees, but for now, E1A2 is playing it comfortable enough that he's staying away from mortal danger. Raptors are not the friend of E1A2. It seems like he gets mostly his damage done with those ground units. Stealth Comanches, on the other hand, are out on the field. 4 of them, nope, that is 5 of them, now here and heading out to the northern side of the map. Command center in the middle of the map. That is very close to the dead center of the map. And, well, can you blame the guy? I guess you can't. You have to go for the command center in the middle of the map. The build radius is pretty funny. Stealth Comanches will be getting cleaned up by those Raptors. Finally, the Raptors finding a target, doing some damage, but now they have returned to the deck to refuel, and every single Comanche goes down. It gets lit up, and it gets turned off as the low power mode affects even A1, A2. He can't pay his power bill either. Something that we're all struggling with at this time as the electricity costs going crazy, even in General's 0 hour. Firebase takes a volley of Raptor strikes, but it's only 50% damage. Just build another one. Oh, no, actually, he's building a Patriot. I thought for a second he was building just a literal second Firebase right next to the first one. He's like, well, if you knock that one down, I've got a backup, don't worry. And now the spy drones get cleaned up. Those darn Avengers. Oh, he's back into low power mode. E1A2 really is having power problems. Imagine Rock V's in real life. Yeah, if you could stick 5 guys with infinite rocket ammo inside of a Humvee and just run that around and they fire with like 100% accuracy, that would be pretty insane. Immediate death of these Stealth Comanches. There is no hope for them. Raptors on oversight as well. May be able to pick off some of these additional reinforcements. One Avenger takes a lot of damage, but missile defenders with those laser zaps just aren't nearly as effective. So many rockets getting zip, zap, zapped out of the air. And suddenly E1A2 is getting pushed back. Those superior laser zaps are just the end of all things, it seems. That attack from E1A2 falling a little bit flat as he was hoping to do more damage than that. What is the answer? Sentry drones. Sometimes mass sentry drone does actually work. I feel like it's always a combination of Humvees and sentry drones. Well, in this case, those Stealth Comanches are going to have a pretty good day with the sentry drones. The missile defender's not going to have as good of a day with the sentry drones. Raptors cleaning up the Avengers. Raptors and Avengers cleaning up the Comanches as well. And, well, I guess if you don't rebuild your units, I'm not sure where TargetMonkey's reinforcements are. For now, it is all missile defenders. Okay, he is going into Tomahawks. Cold fusion reactor getting added on. 1 Tomahawk gets mixed in. That is a lot of additional missile defenders, considering that his opponent is going pretty heavily into sentry drones. A-10 Warthog Strike comes in. Looks like cleaned up maybe a power plant. Tagged some of these other buildings. A little bit of their health gets drained, but not much. Additional War Factory into the middle of the map. E1A2 hoping to add on even more supply drop zones. They are dividing up this map. Forgotten Forest normally is a bit more fluid and open, but these two guys have sectioned off this map, and they are so well aware of each other's movements and troops that anywhere they attack, anywhere they go, the other one is always waiting for them. Sentry drones make short work of that missile defender line, and the push from TargetMonkey will not happen, unless that was just defensive. In which case, well, not much there. 1 Raptor goes down. You always kind of expect to lose at least 1, and that was the 1 that you expect to lose. 1 Tomahawk, not much of a threat to anyone, if I'm honest. Bonk. Yeah, look at that. The Tomahawk didn't even kill a half-health sentry drone. Firebase does clean up the Tomahawk, though. What is in this civilian structure? We may be about to find out. Okay, no. The sentry drones didn't drive over there. A couple of missile defenders here. I assume they were meant to get into that building, and E1A2 just kind of forgot. Didn't quite give them that last command to send them into the structure. E1A2 with a very healthy secondary economy. Lots of supply drop zones ticking away moment by moment. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Combat Chinooks. Real combat Chinooks out on the map. Patriots are here, but the laser zaps are excellent every single time. And hey, you know what Patriots require is power. And now these combat Chinooks and these stealth Comanches are overhead of these power plants. Raptors coming in. One combat Chinook goes down, but the airfield will be the next targets, and all of these Raptors on the deck get cleaned up. Every single one goes down. TargetMonkey has found his target, and now he is lighting up the base of E1A2. E1A2 commanding the first part of this game. TargetMonkey may have found a killer backstabbing move. The power is out, the lights are off, but the front door is unprotected as E1A2 realizes that if TargetMonkey is across the map killing his stuff, he can't be back at home in his own base. Avengers are going to have to be the anti-air of choice for E1A2 because everything else was offline for a while. He finally comes back online. He gets himself back into that power zone, and yet another power plant goes down. Not quite enough to send him into low power mode. E1A2 trying to pressure at the front door. Wow, 2-3 power plants going down, but it's not enough to send him into low power mode. Finally, he falls into low power mode. E1A2 actually responding about as well as he can. His own Comanches doing damage, knocking down those supply trucks, trying to even out the expansion count as the supply trucks get lit up by TargetMonkey, and the War Factory on the front line now under threat. This dozer might be the next target, but the Avengers from E1A2 will not be stopped. The power plant will be maybe the final target as this combat Chinook takes a ton of damage. No, he actually escapes. I can't believe that Avenger didn't chase him down. A lot of Avengers out on this field. These last two combat Chinooks, I think, won't survive their next engagement with the pure number of Avengers that are out on the field. There are so many Avengers over here ready to go. If they can ever catch the angle on those combat Chinooks, it will be absolutely massive damage. Warthogs find a power plant. Still no low power mode. E1A2 has done a really good job, but perhaps all of that spending on power plants to keep himself online will mean that his army just is not as strong. TargetMonkey, on the other hand, mostly has Comanches. He actually has, like, no ground army at all. I didn't realize he had completely skipped out on the ground army. I thought he was mixing in some Humvees, mixing in some Tomahawks, something like that, to try and keep his forces online, but instead he is almost entirely reliant on his air forces. We'll see. It's Mass Ranger coming in. Maybe some missile defenders are here as well, but E1A2 is hoping to just knock down every single missile defender before they load up into these Chinooks, and I'm not sure why he didn't bring any missile defenders along at all, but he apparently did not. He brought only Rangers. I actually don't know what that attack was. That was kind of weird. I don't know why he sent so many Rangers by themselves with no support. Even his line of Avengers, if he sent 3 or 4 Avengers, that would have helped out that attack significantly. Combat Chinooks still moving in. Power plants have not taken the power offline in a good long while, but more and more of them are being forced to be constructed. Every single time you spend money on those power plants, it's not being spent on your army. And E1A2, who was in solid command for the first part of this game, has found himself unable to move out with anything other than Rangers. Everything else has been circling around the back of his base, looking for the defense, trying to knock down these combat Chinooks. Command center in the middle of the map goes down. Another upgraded power plant right on the edge of the base there could be getting cleaned up. Oh my gosh, this is so many stealth Comanches. TargetMonkey with a ton of stealth Comanches moving out to the south. Oh no, these supply trucks, they're confused. They don't know where to go. There's too many supply trucks now. He's just gonna have to, I guess, send them to their doom. Carpet bomb comes in. This is a almost full ring of Patriot missiles. All right, we'll see how these Avengers do. It is Comanches trying to jump on top of these Avengers and let these combat Chinooks into the base. I don't know why they didn't target down the power plants. I thought for sure they were going for the power plants after that. One combat Chinook gets left behind. This guy did not get queued into the control group with everybody else, unfortunately. He gets forgotten. Combat Chinooks moving out to the north. Two more. They're kind of low on health. They do find the upgraded power plant right at the front door. E1A2 has lots of time to balance this, so we'll see if it sends them into low power mode. It does not. Combat Chinooks can't zap forever. They're slowly losing health to these three Patriots, and still no low power mode, as they're going to have to try and get out of range of these Patriots. Last couple of missiles, not fast enough. The Avengers showed up moments too late. If they would have been a couple of moments earlier, they would have been able to push that away. And the particle cannon comes online as the power goes out. E1A2, he has been unable to take down anything of TargetMonkey's because he is always at home defending. And as a result, E1A2 says, oh, that was almost two power plants. If he had placed that a little bit further back, that would have been two power plants. But the low power mode, once again, afflicting E1A2. TargetMonkey brings in the aircraft to jump on the Avengers. He is hoping to one day not have to worry about the infinite number of Patriots that are here. And for now, the last of the Avengers have gone down. Two more Avengers, four more Avengers roll in. Another power plant goes down. There's enough Comanches to keep the damage rolling, but these Avengers have picked off so many Comanches. Chinooks are needed in this case. And no, the Comanches are not enough. Those Avengers just crushed those Comanches. Wow. That was a lot of dead Comanches falling one after another. Carpet bomb comes in, catches two of the Avengers at least, gets the War Factory as well. But the power is back online. Combat Chinooks are here. 1, 2, 3. Avengers will go down. Avengers versus the combat Chinooks. It is laser zaps versus laser zaps with this many rockets flying in both directions. Another Patriot comes online in a couple of moments, but that power plant is pretty exposed. Rangers once again pressuring the front door, but Rangers alone are not going to be able to do very much versus even minimal defense from TargetMonkey. Moab finds the power plant, finds the supply center as well, but it's enough stuff taken offline that the Patriots stay online. As once again, the Comanches come in. Two Comanches pay the price. They escape. TargetMonkey is just going like full-on aircraft mode. He has finally started to build a couple more Humvees. Those feel almost more like an insurance policy, like some sort of, I don't want to lose the game, to a little bit of a ground army that I'm out of position for. or Avengers that are just a little bit too good. Shineco in the chat saying, imagine if Comanches had point defense laser as well. That would be basically everything from the airfield having point defense laser. It is kind of odd that there is one thing that doesn't, but no, I'm glad that the Comanches don't also have point defense laser. That would be a lot of point defense lasers. That would make Patriots very close to useless. I mean, against combat Chinooks, they are close to useless anyways. The use of, like, 3 or 4 Patriots to knock down 1 combat Chinook when you have 2 combat Chinooks is pretty hilarious. Carpet bomb. Ooh, 2 more Avengers get caught, and this is the opening that TargetMonkey was looking for. 1 power plant down, 2 power plants down, and now with 1 minute and 12 seconds on the clock, that particle cannon is frozen in time. The Avengers are still extremely powerful. The Avengers are still a huge threat to any airborne army, but the front door has been broken open for what feels like the 100th time. These combat Chinooks have busted through, taken down the power, and then tried to leave. War Factory goes down, and the Patriot survives. The Avengers, the smaller the area that they have to defend, the more effective that they are at holding off these air forces. TargetMonkey is going to have to, at some point, almost certainly, combine his air forces with something else. E1A2 has less than a minute on the clock until his particle cannon is ready to fire. Humvees, now in good enough numbers, they might actually just be able to walk in through the front door. Mass Ranger in the middle of the map actually does take down 1, maybe 2 Humvees as they pass through, and it is a nice early warning system. Warthogs coming through the A-10 strike will be combined with, I think, a carpet bomb. No, it's going to be a fuel air bomb, going for massive infrastructure damage against TargetMonkey, and he will find an additional power plant and a supply drop zone. Humvees will be getting cut down. Where is the air power? Where are the combat Chinooks? Now they're coming in. Now that the particle cannon is ready to go, the Humvees opened up that front door, and this particle cannon has very few seconds left before it can fire off. E1A2 better choose his target soon. It's too late. Bye-bye. As that particle cannon goes down, it did fire off, but at the last possible second. I didn't even see the timer reset down there in the south, and now the command center is the next target. The last of the significant structures will be the War Factory after these command centers get eliminated. The combat Chinooks cannot be stopped, and pretty much E1A2's only choice now would be to try and force a base race, and there goes the command center. Moab lands as well. Carpet bomb after that, and there's the fire sale. E1A2 taps out. The GG comes in, and, well, unfortunately for E1A2, that was a huge win in the early game and a loss in the late game. And whoa, Galvanize. Big thanks for the 10 gifted subs. Congrats to Kay, Miko TV, Buzzabomb 2020, Cloud Spiffy, Venomy, Ani Momo, Luiga345, Red Rhino, and H. Chris. Huge thanks to Galvanize for the 10 gifted community subs. Enjoy the emotes, guys. The GGs come out, and the fireworks have exploded, which means it is time to say goodbye to Gen Evo for today. We're about to cross the 5-hour mark on the stream, and that does signal the end of the broadcast. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Cyber signing out.